we invite you to enter a dimension, one traveled by the bravest truth seekers, a realm where gay grays, big feet, and the men in black lurk. Join us as we penetrate deep into the truths that can only be described as spoopy conspiracies. Every year, an increasing amount of people around the world claim to see sightings of UFOs and aliens. Why is this? What is driving the amount of reports? One thing is for certain, an interesting percentage of people who have intimate, close encounters end up being harassed, intimidated, silenced, murdered, and in some cases, sodomized. They saw something they weren't supposed to see, and that something is worth more than their lives in the eyes of the men in black. These alleged men, dressed in 50s style black casual business suits, black trench coats, and matching hats. In most cases, they come in pairs and appear as if they could be twins. They have vivid blue eyes and are completely hairless. Their skin looks pale, synthetic, and they are emotionless and robotic in their posture and mannerisms. The most they seem to do to blend in is wear lipstick to hide their lips' pale tone and dress in outdated business attire to somewhat resemble a human being, causing controversy to their origins. Their odd, lifeless look alone is so intimidating that some people have claimed to immediately shit themselves at the mere sight of them. But it makes you wonder, if they're protecting such sensitive information that's so advanced, then why do they appear so poorly made and wear outdated clothes? Are they gay or something? Although most researchers believe that it's basically just to scare you into complete submission, some witnesses state that the men in black have a metallic or strangely modulated androgynous voice, and in some cases they use ELF or extremely low frequency telepathic communications or dreamlike apparitions to fuck with people's mentality, making them think that they're crazy, or even completely changing a target's lifestyle into something more alternative. Many researchers believe the men in black may be aliens trying to cover their tracks. Others think that they could be golems or hybrid beings created by the secret space program. The term is also frequently used to describe mysterious men working for shadow organizations, allegedly designed to protect secrets or perform other strange activities. One thing is for sure, they'll be summoned to silence anyone who happens to stumble upon such information. One of the earliest reported encounters with the MIB was in December of 1946. A man known only as Jerry was contacted one night in his sleep telepathically. One moment he was sound asleep, and in the next instant he was conscious and unable to move. Unsure if he was awake or asleep, he struggled briefly, only to hear a voice in his head telling him to remain calm if he did not want to be infiltrated further. Slightly disturbed by the possibilities of this threat, he calmed down and opened his eyes to see two men at the foot of his bed. The room was dim, however he could make out that they both had lipstick on, wearing suits with black trench coats and fedoras with jet black feathers in them. Jerry recalled having to hold in a laugh at how queer they looked to avoid angering these strange visitors. The visitors warned him that they worked for the government and demanded that he ceased operations of his small-time radio show about flying saucers and extraterrestrial beings, or they would handle him and his two young sons. Frightened for his family's well-being, he promised to stop. Unconvinced by his vow, both men quickly marched to the side of his bed and removed their trench coats, revealing their manhood, and stared at him menacingly for several minutes in silence before Jerry blacked out from fear. He woke up next morning feeling unusually sore, unsure if it was all just a bad dream. Regardless, he didn't want to tempt fate and gave up his radio show that day. It is not known what became of Jerry. However, his tale marked the start of decades of bizarre accounts with encounters with these so-called men in black. Intimidation isn't the only tool of the trade for these entities. Sabotage and mind control devices are well-known appropriations for these beings. Paranormal researcher and internet radio show host Ted Torbidge was targeted by these MIB agents. Once a respected, prominent truther and paranormal researcher, Ted mysteriously began experiencing a string of poor luck and mental instability, forcing him to abandon his research, radio show, and YouTube channel. He later sold all of his property, research books, and began playing cell phone casino games while picking up a nasty drug habit and an unhealthy desire for African American transgendered prostitutes. Then he started begging for money from his fan base online to support his new addiction under the guise of debt repayment and sudden yet suspiciously endless and unexpected bill expenses. Unknown to Ted or his fans, it was concluded by independent researchers that the MIB shot ELF waves into his home every night to slowly corrupt his strong-willed mind and prevent him from continuing his truther crusades against the corrupt elite and exposing their nefarious agendas to his growing internet audience. While under the MIB's control, they forced him to mindlessly play jackpot slots for hundreds of hours a month, and every night at midnight, they would hypnotically walk him to a back alley with a makeshift convenience store to pick up heroin and his favorite ladyboy, Patrice, to shoot up with. While in this trance, he was completely unaware of the dark suit-wearing fedoras running the shop with effeminate grins and mannerisms, controlling his every move from outside of the dark-tinted van across the street. Since the manipulation began, Ted has never returned to his projects after several years. It is rumored that he now lives off welfare, still playing jackpot slots, and suffering from a severe drug and prostitution addiction. However, his status and whereabouts are unconfirmed. Stories of the Men in Black have sustained prevalence since the late 1940s. Even in the recent decade, they continue to intimidate and silence people. This clip shows two men in black suspiciously waiting for a train in New Orleans, Louisiana. Could they be on their way to sodomize their next victim? A man driving down an old country road in the dark night rolls up upon an unexpected group of Men in Black agents. An interestingly rare case where the Men in Black are the ones shitting themselves. Here we see ufologist James Carrion being questioned by a reporter about the Men in Black.
Don't you have afraid of the Men in Black?
The Men in Black, they know who they can psychologically manipulate, and they know who they can intimidate. I'm not a person who can be intimidated.
Shortly after this interview, James was sodomized and silenced. The next day, he abruptly decided to move overseas, never to be heard from again. This episode leaves us feeling violated, with the chilling reminder that the MIB will always find you if you get too close to the truth, yet we remain willing and hungry for more. So what agencies are behind these beings? What about the black helicopters said to be associated with them? What exactly are they trying to hide from the population, and why? We hope to explore these questions and more in another episode of Spoopy Conspiracies, so stick around.